Hello, and welcome to another Story Time with Sky Fellowship, which I'm going to be honest, this is not specifically a story. This is one of those that it's probably going to be uploaded alongside the Metroid Prime video because one has directly led to the other. I'm first up trying to actually see if I can, there we go, turn the HDR off, yes, because there we go, OBS was completely washed out, so I apologise about that. I will never understand, and maybe I would say maybe it's an OBS thing. Actually, it might only be an OBS thing because the capture card I specifically bought does actually do HDR, but because I need to do OBS for the PC side of things, I have these issues. So it was completely washed out. So anyway, I'm going to say this episode is essentially going to be titled "The Problem with 4's." I think it's safe to say, or maybe I'll go, what the fuck is it with 4's? Because seriously, what is it with 4's? So, I'm not tarring everything with the same brush as people say. I am not saying every single 4 in the history of video games is bad. Not saying that at all. I understand there are a couple of exceptions. There are things like Resident Evil 4, which I myself personally really hated the original. I love the remake. I've done a whole video on that. It's fine. Let's move on. There's games like that exist, but for the most part, what the fuck is it about 4's? I understand a lot of people get irked at sequels and get irked at trilogies because not a lot changes in them and people seem to think that's a problem. So maybe that's why. But how many 4's out there absolutely fucking killed their franchise or pissed off fan bases so much? I've already done a Metroid Prime 4 video. That should be the one that's gone up here. I personally liked it, but I fully acknowledge that it's a very mixed game, shall we say. There's... maybe I should have wrote all of these down, because now I'm trying to make sure I don't forget one of the obvious ones, but there's Dead Rising 4, which completely killed the franchise and the studio even. There's Diablo 4, which I really love the Diablo franchise, and I did enjoy Diablo 4 the first time I played it, but the fact that they've removed the map essentially being randomly generated and it's just this one static thing, it's so fucking boring replaying this game over and over again when absolutely nothing changes. And this is a huge problem unique to Diablo, because Diablo's the one that turned around and went, you know what, let's make everything seasonal, let's make it so that you have to come back every 3 months to run through and get some new content. And I already didn't like doing that much with Diablo 3, but I did play a lot of Diablo 3 because it was just fun to replay it. Diablo 4, adding that level of grind with this level of repetitiveness, it's just, no. We have Borderlands 4, where I've most likely put that video up by now as well. I despise everything about Borderlands 4. I have literally one nice thing to say about it. That's it. There's just so many 4's out there. And I don't understand why, even if you are a developer who's like, we're worried that people are going to just go, oh, this is just more of the same, this is just more of the same. I understand playing it safe can be a problem, and more of the same can be a problem as well. But when this is the alternative, it just kind of fucks a lot up. And again, Diablo 4 is actually still a really good game the first time you play through it. I personally hated the... Okay, so I want to say the class is the Spiritborn. And I want to say the expansion is Vessel of Hatred? Or is Vessel of Hatred the new one that I'm currently waiting on at the time of recording? Let's just say Vessel of Hatred is the correct one. I fucking despise that expansion. I know I'm using that word a lot in this video, but honestly, I didn't enjoy a single part of playing through that fucking extended campaign, essentially. It was such a boring slog. I didn't really like the locations. The boss fights were so repetitive and monotonous, and I don't know if I just had bad luck or something, but the amount of times that I would walk into a boss fight and the boss would take 20 minutes of just grinding its health down, and then if I got killed once, because I was playing solo, I no longer have anyone to play Diablo with. As soon as I got killed, that was kind of it. Boss fight starts over. I ended up starting to drop the difficulty down only on boss fights, which is not the way I play any game, let alone the way I play Diablo. I usually speedrun as fast as I can to get to the harder difficulties, because firstly, I'm actually good at these games. Secondly, I really enjoy the challenge of them. And thirdly, you get way better rewards. So it saves you time in the long run by having a build that can actually take you through the harder difficulties. It means you're grinding less overall. But anyway, that's before I even get to the very scummy monetization. And I understand there'll be some people screaming at the fact that I've clearly got skins. Yes, I've got skins for two reasons. The first, when you buy the deluxe, ultimate, whatever collector's edition of these games, you get some platinum for the included price. I'm not going to say for free, because let's be real, it isn't. Like, I think most of what you're paying for in those editions, to be honest, is actually the fucking platinum. But then I also justified it, because before I knew it was a static map, I thought, I'm going to be playing this game a lot. I'm going to be playing this game for years. Like, whenever a new expansion comes out, I won't do everything single season, but I'll probably run one character every year. So I'll, like, one every 4 seasons. No, there's none of that. I instantly realised, and it's why I'm not spending money on platinum, as much as there's some really cool looking stuff out there, which that in itself is part of the major problem, that all of the coolest things is stuff you have to buy, and I don't actually think I've found a single piece of armour or gear in the game that I like as much as even some of the cheaper armour sets, which is a huge problem in a game like this. So I go back again to what this episode's actually called. What the fuck is it with 4's? I truly do not understand how a dev can turn around and just shit all over their own franchise by fucking things up so badly, but so many of them do, time and time again. And it's always the 4th title. It is always the 4th title if you're going to have an issue. And again, I go back to Resident Evil 4. As much as that is a critically acclaimed game, at the time, it was very controversial because you had the Resident Evil fans like myself going, this isn't Resident Evil, what the fuck is this? And then you had a bunch of people who were either sick of the original Resis, or they didn't actually like the original Resis, and then they were like, oh yeah, this is so much better though. And if you liked it, great. Again, I personally hated it, and I only ended up liking it when they did a remake, and the remake is now one of my all-time favourite games. I've just realised I haven't spent any of my skill points, so it's like no wonder I only have a base attack. Let's see if I can run away and quickly just put some stuff into things. I've never played as the Paladin. This is the first time I've put the Paladin on, so I'm going to pick some shit at random. If I can even remember. There we go. Holy Bolt. Brandish. As much as I said random, I at least want to read the names. Clash and Advance. Fuck off, whatever enemy is currently chasing me. Right, let's go for Holy Bolt, because that sounds fun. Zeal, Blessed Shield, Blessed Hammer. I like hitting things with hammers. And I've got 2 more points to spend very quickly. Yeah, I've kind of got to go for the Fanaticism Aura as well. So, let's see what that does. Not bad. And also, not bad. I wish I had some healing right now. Oh, I do have healing. And it doesn't even matter because I've just leveled up. Perfect time. So, yeah. To get back on topic. Apologies, ADHD in real time. I don't really know what else I can even say. When you've got games out there like the Yakuza franchise, which I do commonly crap on yearly releases, but it tends to be that those are one of the only things where the 4th number doesn't really change, because at least they are committing to, let's just make the same stuff over and over again that people are liking. And I know I'm essentially being a little too harsh. Eventually I'm going to really piss off the Yakuza fan base, I really am. Because I understand that sometimes they make them like beat 'em uppy, and sometimes they make them JRPG, and it's just one of those things. I'm just really not into yearly franchises, so I don't care too much about learning all of the differences, but I know there are some differences. But at least they're not numbered entries for the most part. I think we stopped at 3, and then they just started to do what Call of Duty did, where Call of Duty went all the way up to 4, and then they've never made Call of Duty 5. I still think they will one day. Okay, this is a weird callback for a video. When I reviewed Call of Duty World at War on my channel, loads of people kept calling it Call of Duty 5, and I'm not going to lie, I'm petty. I'm seriously petty. The day Call of Duty 5 gets announced, because they will eventually do it. This is a known tactic for games that go the yearly route. They'll eventually get to the point where they've pissed off the fan base so much, which I think we've kind of hit that point with the fact that we're not going to release 2 numbered entries in a row. I reckon eventually you're going to lose Modern Warfare, you're going to lose Black Ops, you're going to lose whatever the fuck the other franchise is called, because I know 3 different teams make these games now, and I reckon that eventually we'll just get a full, this is a hard stop, this is Call of Duty 5, and the day that happens, I'm going to my World at War review, and I'm going to reply to literally everyone who complained about me not calling it Call of Duty 5 when it's clearly Call of Duty 5. It's Call of Duty World at War. It always has been, always will be. Call of Duty 5 will eventually exist. I am absolutely adamant of it. I don't know when, but it'll exist eventually, unless they do the Nintendo route and then they do new Super Call of Duty. That's also possible. So, yeah. Ranting, raving, venting, waffling, all the standards at this point of a video. I don't think I have much left to say, though, because it's an open-ended question, and maybe this is something where I do need to ask people's opinions in the comments. I don't so much want to know any 4's that you like, because, again, I am fully aware that there are some genuinely decent 4's, but are there any major ones that I've forgotten? Because I had to cover Borderlands 4 for my own personal interest. Dead Rising on a technicality is a personal interest, because I absolutely fucking love that franchise, and it killed the entire dev. Capcom were like, we're shutting you the fuck down, this is so bad. But I'm trying to think of some of like the really disappointing 4's that have came out, because again, I acknowledge Metroid Prime, but yeah, I think I'm done. So I'm just going to say it until the next time. This has been Sky Fellowship, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.